You've read the Arizona Republic over the past quarter century. You've likely read pieces by Laurie Roberts and Elvia Diaz. Love them or hate them, they were absolute trailblazers in print journalism.
That's right, and today their careers at the Arizona Republic came to a close. 12 News' Craig Harris sat down with his former colleagues. Hey, Craig.
Hey guys, hey, as journalists, we strive for objectivity. Well, tonight I'm going to ask you for a mulligan. That's because I'm telling you the story of two very dear friends. They are journalists who many, including myself, are deeply admired, and each made a bit of history at Arizona's paper of record. Meet Laurie Roberts and Elvia Diaz. The two spent a combined 69 years writing and editing at the Arizona Republic. So this is the site right here, right? They and several of their colleagues accepted a buyout from Gannett, the Republic's owner. Gannett, which also owns USA Today, is cutting costs company-wide by $100 million. The two women decided it was time to move on. I sat down with them at 200 East Van Buren, a place they called home for decades. Each, in her own way, was a trailblazer. Roberts was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, the highest honor in journalism, in 2001. She was also the paper's politics editor. Her team's investigations led to the impeachment in 1988 of then-Governor Evan Mecham.
So I handpicked a team throughout the newsroom, and I've always been proud of the fact that we broke each and every one of the stories that led to his impeachment, all of the corruption.
Diaz, an immigrant in 2022, became the first Latina to run the editorial page since the Republic was founded in 1890.
I'm proud to represent Latinos and Latinas, but you're talking to someone who came from a small village in Mexico that only listened to radio, to not having a cell phone, to having a cell phone, to having a computer, to then having to type in a different language.
Both women had plenty of critics and supporters for their political views as columnists.
People would write a letter to the editor critical of you, and it was like they wrote it in church because it's very, very circumspect and it's critical, but in a scholarly way. Online is like a bar fight.
We're not here to be loved, you know, and be liked. So criticism is part of the job. As a journalist, you have to be able to take it. And if you're not, then it is not a job for you.
I also asked them about balancing their careers and home life.
I'm sure that I missed things, but I also had an opportunity for both of my boys to see that you can be a mother and you can be a professional, a working professional, whether it's in journalism or something else. I like to think that I gave them a pretty good role model of what a woman can be.
My daughter did have to come here after school and be with me, you know, until whenever. When I was covering the legislature, she will literally sleep under the desk if I had long hearings, you know, until 10 o'clock. I mean, this is a child that was in middle school, right? In high school, she would not dare go, right? or elementary school. So that's tough. It is really tough, you know, but you got to do it, right? She remembers that. She still remembers sleeping under, you know, under my desk.
As for their futures,
I'm hungry for something else. I can't just rest and say, oh, you know, I already did 25 years of my life writing. Well, this is just the beginning of something else.
Oh, I got a date with my swimming pool later today. I feel like I'm way behind. For now, I'm gonna take a few months off and breathe and find out if there's life after journalism.
That's what I'm gonna miss them.
other notable departures at the Republic include columnist E.J. Montini and Phil Boas, longtime reporters Mary Jo Pitzel and Russ Wiles, and photographers Michael Chow and Cheryl Evans. Now, full disclosure, I had the privilege of working with all of them when I was at the Republic.
You know, we see this happening across the country to major papers that just get smaller and smaller and cut staff. But a paper is nothing without columnists and editorial writers. What's going on?
I really don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you know, whether you liked them or didn't like them, people wanted to read Ed. People wanted to read Laurie. They wanted to know what was going on, and, you know, they would have the banter online. And so that's a lot of institutional memory and voices that really is going to be lost.
And you got to have an editorial board. if you're going to be a major newspaper.
Well, yeah, there's not much left on the editorial board. Almost the entire editorial board took the buyout. Wow. So there's not a whole lot left there for the editorial board.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a lot of knowledge, a lot of memory that is hard to replace.
Yeah,
it's irreplaceable in a lot of ways.
Yeah, one person that works has said it might be like 500 years of institutional memory walking out the door. I mean, Friday was the last day for some folks. Today was the last day for a lot of the rest of them. So a lot of good people and a lot of institutional memory that will be missed, and did a great job of holding people accountable.
Yeah, they do seem like they are excited to take their next chapter, though. They both seem like they're pretty content with that.
Yeah, they're looking forward to it. I think Laurie's
looking
looking forward to spending some time with grandchildren and not having the grind of writing a column. And Elvia has got a podcast that she's doing, and she'll be doing some things also in the community to also keep doing the job as a watchdog.
It is really sad, though. It's sort of the end of an era to me, as a guy who grew up reading that paper.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate. And, you know, like in Atlanta, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, they're not even having a print edition anymore. And so I hope that day doesn't happen here. And it really is tough to see a lot of people I spent 20 plus years of my career with no longer there.
Wow. All right.
All right, Craig, thank you.